And welcome back to this next episode. And I decided in this episode we will implement a couple of sounds. When we run, we want to have footstep sounds, and also when we shoot, we want to have some effects like muzzle flash or like this smoke coming up every time we shoot. Also maybe like the bullet is falling out, and so it's going to be much more interesting. So what I did and what you should do, I just imported all my sound effects and also particle effects from my previous project, and you can get those. Okay, let me start by talking about the particle effects. You can just get nice looking effects on, of course, the Unreal Engine Marketplace, which is now Fab. Just search for like muzzle flash, or like Niagara effects, weapon effects, particle effects in general. And then when you see like something like Niagara, then you will be fine, because this is basically like an emitter, and we can just put those effects just inside this node, and we are already good to go. So you don't need to create anything, because you are already purchasing those finished products. And so we can just focus on our game development here. So in this case, I have prepared particles for the bullet casing. So when I open this up, this is for Cascade. Cascade is, I think, the previous version of spawning emitters. And then there is like, just give it some time. Now it's completed. Now you can see, if you just set your focus here, you can just see that this like a little bit of smoke coming. This is going to get spawned every time we shoot. And yeah, so when you see something like Cascade particle system or Niagara, it's the same. It's just Niagara is like the newer version of spawning emitters. Then we have impacts. Right now we are not having zombies, but we can also spawn impacts. Let me just get this big blood cloud, and you can see every time we hit a zombie, we will also spawn on the zombie this blood. But there's also like something. Let's do bloody overkill. So you're gonna have something like this. Looks pretty nice. And also I imported the structure. Let me see if the structure is... Yeah, this is cool, because the structure has also been imported straight away, which is nice, but I will show you this when we import zombies. And let me go to the mesh particles. I think this is not really... No, this is just the material. And I have muzzle flash, so let me just show you the medium one. So muzzle flash is basically when we shoot. You also have this one every single time, if you don't like that. We also have this one here, large. Okay, maybe this is just a little bit of overkill and looks a little more stylized, but you can just... I have this another version of medium. But just make sure that you get some particle effects maybe for the pistol is enough. And maybe you get some blood splashes, blood particles. So just make sure that this is a Niagara particle system. Okay, and then I also have, besides the muzzle flash, I have the muzzle smoke. So here as well, it's like another version of spawning smoke. This looks pretty realistic. It's maybe a little bit too slow, but there's like smoke light. It's also pretty nice, you can see. Yes. So, and for footsteps, now let's get to the sounds. So SFX. So I imported door sounds. Obviously, we are going to use door sounds when we implement doors and transition from one map to another, because this is what we also will implement, that we save our game instance. So we save our progress, and then this whole progress gets transferred into, when we get to a door, we unlock the door if needed, or if required, we unlock the door with a key, and then we will just spawn into like another map, and we can just switch between. So this is like really amazing. And then so this is why I have this locked door. So you can just hear now what we're going to do. The locked door, opening a door, in this case metal door, opening a metal door, shutting a metal door. This is for interior, opening, shut, another shut, and those we can just delete, because queues we need to make them anyway. Unlock 2. So yeah, I'm not going to show you like all those sounds, because this is not for this episode, but the footsteps are important. So we will implement footsteps here, and I also want to make sure that we also implement, or maybe I'm gonna do this when we start to build our level. So this is gonna take a lot of more episodes, or maybe I will just show you how to do this. But there are already like a bunch of tutorials on how to how to use physics materials. So when you change when your player character is walking on a wooden surface, let's say you have like a material of wood, then you can assign this material of wood or this mesh which has this material. You can assign this mesh to giving it a physics material. And then when you have this physics material, you can do it in your blueprint, and then you just switch the sound to walking on wood. And then you go outside and you change the sound to walking on concrete. So this is what you basically can do inside. I will not show you this in detail now because I think it makes sense when we do it when we build our level. So you do this in the project settings. And then you have something like, and when you scroll down here, so the default, this is, we're not going to use this. So when you build a level and you have, you're walking inside a house and you have wood, then you have maybe tiles, and then you're going to have maybe some carpet, so some meshes will be carpet. So for every mesh, you are going to assign this a physics material, and then you can, for example, call this one like wood. The next surface type is called tiles. The next surface type is called carpet. The next surface type is called concrete. The next surface type is called mud, and then grass. Then you have dirt, or maybe let's do soil, dirt, pebbles, or maybe let's do leaves when you're walking on forest floor. So puddle. So you get the idea. So you can just use like all like different styles you have footsteps. Okay, so and once you have like different types of surfaces, you can just go into maybe you can click on your mesh. In this case, now let's consider this as our floor, for example, and then you will have the ability here. Once you activate this, let's go to physics. You have like this physical material override, and inside there you are going to have like this physics material you just created, like wood, for example. You can just assign this, and out of there you can have like the physics material, like the surface type. You can get this one, and when the player is walking on this, the footsteps you can change, but you can basically change them depending on where you go. But this is not something we do now in detail. As I told you before, we are going to do this when we are done with our game mechanics. What I'm just doing now is implement basic footsteps in general, and also the particle effects for our pistol. So how can we do that? Actually, it's pretty simple. We create a new folder inside our content folder, which is called, let's call this NMBP. So we have like a huge folder for NMBP. And inside there, we need to distinguish between NM notifies, and we need to have a separate folder for NM states. So this is important. We have basically a blueprint for which is like a notify inside our animation, and we have like an NM state inside an animation. I will just let me just explain to you the NM state, because right now we are not using the NM state, but we are going to use the NM notify. So for the NM state, it's basically, imagine you reload, or imagine you pick something up and you have like a reload animation, which is also something we are going to implement. Then you like for 2 seconds, for example, you reload. I know this is not inside the Resident Evil, and the old Resident Evil is not using those kind of animations, because when you use the inventory, you only see the inventory, so you don't need a reload animation. But in this case, when you pick something up, we will just implement a couple of animations to make our game more fun and interactive. And the thing is, when you are playing an animation montage by picking up something or reload your pistol, the player is not moving, but still you have it. For example, you have an input, so you still can move while the player is basically playing an animation, and then this means your player is just standing in one place. It's just standing still and is reloading the pistol. But while he's doing this, or in this case while she's doing this, you still can move. So you're sliding around. So this is where you use an NM state. For example, this is just an example. The NM state is you set the point A and then you set the point B. So from the beginning of the animation to a certain time or frame, you have an end animation point. So you have a beginning and you have an end. This is why you have a state. During this particular state inside this animation montage, you can define certain types of codes or blueprints. For example, disable the input, and then after the end NM state, so when the NM state is has its endpoint, you can again enable the input. But during this time, during this state, you can just have like a temporary disable input, or you can change something during this animation, and it will just get like a reset after this. This is the NM state. But this is for the next episodes. But for this episode, we just take care of an NM notify. Just right-click inside the NM notifies folder and go to blueprint, and then get the blueprint class and just search for notify. just get this regular one here on top, the anim notify, and just select this one. And then in this case I want to add footsteps, right? So we just call this one, just call it anim notify underscore footsteps. Okay. And then we are going to open that one up. You're going to have, when you click on override, the received notify. This is basically the stuff we need for our, when we want to give it like we are sending a message to a specific type of animation or animation montage. So received notify. From there, obviously, we need to cast from the mesh component. So who is it? Let's get owner, the get owner from the component. And then we, inside the anim state, we need to cast to, in this case, our BPRE character. So our player BP. Once we do this, you can also just connect that one up just to see this is fine. And then yes, when he's like, you have no warning and everything is perfect. Good. So in this case, it's pretty important that you get the owner, and from the owner you cast. And then we can just play a sound, the footstep sound. But it would be pretty boring if we just, let's say, get the footsteps. And I think concrete is a good, like a generic sound. Right, we might also can do, I mean, we could also like be funny and do mud, but I think this is quite annoying. It has a little bit of reverb, but you can hear the style of those sounds is you're walking outside. While when we go back to our, let's say, tiled floor, you can hear the reverb. This is like a smaller room size for reverb, like a smaller echo, but more significant. Then you know you're walking inside a house or like a big hallway. Okay, and also for wood, I know I'm talking too much and I can never finish, but I think this might be good info for you, so bear with me. Wood planks, for example, when you're like walking on the attic or maybe, I don't know, basement maybe. Okay, basement is not pretty common for this type, but maybe something like really scary like attic or the second floor of a house or maybe an old house. Then you have wooden planks. So I really like this. Mud, I really love mud. Yeah, something like this. But we will just stick to concrete. Let me just delete this sound cue, just in case if you don't know what this is. This is all because from my previous... let me just go into footsteps and search for SC. And let me get all those because we don't need them. Well, we need them actually, but we need to create them again. So you go to sound folder. For the sounds you want, and make sure you have different types of sounds, so you have different styles, audio, and then you go to sound cue, and then let's name this SC, always use the SC, so you will find them a lot quicker, and then in this case it's concrete. Okay, sound cue for concrete. We can also be more specific, let's do SCFS for footsteps, so because there could also be concrete for like impact effects or something like this. So maybe like a sound for like when you shoot against the wall. So we want to be specific. So SC for sound cue underscore FS for footstep underscore concrete. So this will always be our naming convention for footstep, SC, FS. So when we open that one up, you can just shift click all those, just drag them inside, and this is pretty easy. Just use like a random node, and let's get more inputs here on the plus. So we have this, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you just connect the output to its output. I collect everything. I drag select everything, press Q, because I just like this, being completely straight. And then you can just test it out here on the bottom left. I'm just spamming this button. You can see this would be the sound. So you have different styles of those sounds. Now we have this sound cue, and you can just get this sound cue concrete we just created. And oh, sorry, of course we need to have a play sound 2D, but in this case let's do a play sound at location. This is pretty important because depending on where we are, so if we are far away from the camera, the sound will be it's going to have less volume, but when we run towards our camera, the volume is going to increase. So this is pretty important. In order to have its location, we need to get, let's say, get actor location. And from there, we can just use this get actor location here. Okay, and from here, we can just search for SCFS concrete. And you have this sound cue. Make sure this is the sound cue, and then compile and save. And now I can show you what I mean by notify. When we walk or when we run, we need to go into our character animations. So let's go inside the animation. And we are lucky because we only have the animation jog, walk, so walk back, walk forward, and jog. This is it for footsteps. Anything else is we don't really move. So we can just go inside this jog forward. And then you can just go here and you have this one. There's already like, this is already a notify. This lane here is already notify. So you can click inside. We add a notify. And now notify means you want to trigger a specific event. So where do you want to trigger it? And when we just move our animation here, we know that right here, I want to have my first footstep sound. So this blueprint we just created is going to get triggered here, and then the next one, boom, right here. Footsteps. So anim notify footsteps. Save, and we're going to do this for walk as well. So this is the first one. So here, right here, add notify, and boom, the next one is here. This is it. So let me see if we have sound, and let me see if this sound has also location. Okay, so location is not working, but I can tell you why, because I forgot one particular thing. But you can see the sound is not 100%, so we need to tweak it a little more. Let's go here. No, let's go to, I think for walk is fine, but let's go here. So I think this is a little bit off. Let's do like so, and let's do like so. Maybe this looks more accurate. Yeah, this is much better. So always make sure that this is, you put this a little bit more to the left, because it always has like a small, like a tiny delay of like 5 milliseconds or something. Okay, so the sound at location is not going to work, and this is pretty obvious, but of course for a beginner, this is not obvious. We need to go to the override attenuation, just type in like atten, and then you have like this override attenuation. And then you're going to have a lot of stuff popping up. And we need to use the, like, where was it? Enable spatialization. And we need to have an inner radius of, let's say, 200. And the fall off distance, let's say, 800. And save that. You can see, no, you can hear. You have the sound at location. And when we walk, yeah, this is fine. Okay, cool. So now you have some sounds for her walking and running. And now let's go to the pistol. So for the pistol, we also want to have it like more action-based maybe, or like more interesting. So this is when we do another anim notify. So into our NMBP, we go to the notify. So every time we fire, we know that we have a fire animation for up, straight, and down. And this is where we will put our anim notify. So let's do, you know what, you can just be lazy and just right-click and duplicate this one. And just remove the footsteps, of course, and just call this one pistol shoot. So we know this one is affecting when we shoot. So we can keep our logic quite clean inside our player BP. And we just do all the logic here. So we have the receive notify already. So we used this before. You just can open this one up, and we just need to delete, we don't need to delete anything. We can just give it space, because we also need the effects, the particle effects. But here we need the pistol shot. So let's prepare a sound cue. I will always do a sound cue, even if it's just in this case the same shooting sound. I will always use a sound cue. So I go to pistol. So of course this is for like when you shoot against a wall or something. This is also what you're going to spawn. And this one is, yeah, this one is the right one. So let's do audio, sound cue, and we call this one SC underscore sound cue pistol shot. And then just open that one up. You can also do the, when you type in attenuation, just enable override attenuation. Then you're going to have this inner radius. So let's do maybe 250 and fall off distance maybe 1200. Then we get this pistol shot here. And this is always the same sound every time we shoot. So we don't need a random node. We can just connect this one up, save, and now we can just use this one. So let's do SC pistol shot. Okay, and then let me get, I already had one, called SC shoot, so I can delete this one because I made a new one called pistol shot. Then compile and save, and then we also need the bullet shell, but yeah, we're going to do this later. Now let's do an emitter. Let's spawn emitter at location. In this case, we are just spawning this location from our socket. So just get, let me just alt click this, because I think it makes more sense to have this in the first place. Yeah, to have this right in the beginning, because this takes more time. Emitters are pretty, could be pretty expensive in some cases, so we make sure that we have this first. And then the sound can just happen right away after this. So from the mesh component, we also need to get, so unfortunately, because we have a lot of effects going on here, we also need to cast this one to our pistol. So let's do cast to BP pistol, and then from there let's get the owner. So after we cast to our pistol, or let's say now we can get the pistol, get pistol, or no, get skeletal mesh. So we want to have the skeletal mesh. And we need two things, because we are not only moving with our pistol, we also rotate with our pistol. This is why we need the socket, get socket location. And the socket location, we know that this is barrel. We also need get socket rotation. And we need so much space here. And let me just get this one straight, and then also let me just get this one straight. And then this one is also a barrel. So location goes into location, and socket rotation goes into the rotation. Okay, and also I want to have this one straight. And now we can get this one over here. But that's not it. Here I go full retard, I believe, because we're casting this first emitter. And I also would like to have another emitter, which is the... yeah, I will show you in a bit. So let me spawn another actor. Not spawn actor, spawn emitter. Emitter at location. And then of course we also connect that one up. Location and rotation. And then I also spawn another emitter. Of course, you don't need to do it, and I strongly advise you not to do it. But I think I'm just crazy. This is the reason why I'm doing it. And why is this not straight? This one needs to be straight. And this reroute also needs to be straight. And then I'm spawning like triple. So now let me get this one. And then let me just get this one. No, not the scale, the rotation. Okay, so I have 3 emitters. You probably will be fine with just one, like muzzle flash or something. So let me go to inside my particle effects. So make sure that you have good particle effects for your pistol shot. And then let me start by getting the muzzle flash, and maybe I get the medium too. Yeah, let me just get the medium. Let me just get this one. And then we're not done. We also want to have smoke. So let's get the smoke medium. Why not? You should see, maybe this is overkill. No. But you also can see it's random every time it gets triggered, which is pretty amazing. Yeah, and now I have this third emitter. In this case, let me just deconnect this one, and let's put this one here. Because I want to have this before. I will tell you why. Because this bullet casing here. Let me see, bullet casing. Okay, so now for the third one, I have this bullet casing. Or how is it called? Particle effects. I know I'm really going crazy with particles, but bullet. This one. Let me see. Yeah, so you can see like the bullet is like coming out. And I get this one. Just get this bullet casing. Okay, so location, rotation is all like, it's getting casted to our pistols, and in our pistol we know it's from, oh my god, barrel. So make sure this is typed correctly. I spawn the muzzle flash, then I spawn smoke at the same time, and also a bullet is like flying out. And yeah, okay, and then we can just connect this one to the cast to BPRE character, because unfortunately we also want to have this one. And then I do a small delay. If I can use it. Oh, I cannot use it. Oh yeah, I cannot use a delay. But we can do another. We can just do another notify. We can just do a separate notify, because I need to cast something with a small delay. So, but for now this is fine. Now we have like 3 different effects, like 3 different particles, as well as the shooting sound. And then we just, you know what? We don't need to cast it to the character. No, we don't need to cast it to the character, because when we have this notify, we are playing this animation anyway. We are playing this sound and this spawn emitter location. We are going to spawn this anyway. So every time our animation is getting triggered, this one is getting triggered. So we only cast to the BP pistol. And then from there we also have this, get this location here. Yeah, get this location as well. This one. So from our barrel. And then also make sure that this one, when we search this one, we know our attenuation radius is enabled, and we have this radius, for example, 250 and 1200 to fall off. Good. So then we actually can hear that this has location, straight connection, this one. Good. Compile and save, and then let's get another one. Let's get another animation notify. So let's just copy this one, duplicate. Let's call this one bullet casing. When we open this one up, we open the receive notify. We can just delete everything. No. Just those emitters. We don't need the rotation. We just need this one. So we cast to our pistol to get the skeleton mesh location, so the barrel, and then this is the location. And then we play the sound, compile and save. And now we can just close all those animation blueprints, sorry. We go to RE character, go to montages, because those are the fire montages. So let me get the fire montage straight. Then we have this notify. Make sure that you have another notify. In this case we need two notifies. And the first one is notify pistol shoot. That's right in the beginning. So boom. And then let me get this, like maybe like 1 second. Let me get this here. So the second anim notify would be the bullet casing. So when this bullet is dropping out, the emitter is spawning, the bullet is just flying out, and then it's hitting the floor. So this is why I have a separate notify, just to have this bullet sound. It's not happening immediately, it's happening once the bullet is hitting the floor. This is why I was just doing this a little bit later. Then let's check. Okay, so it's not working because we need to cast to our character, unfortunately. So from the owner, we also need to cast to BPRE character. Otherwise, it's not going to work. I mean, you don't need to cast if you just do it inside your. You can do this logic inside your player BP, but I just don't want to do this. I just want to have this inside here, and then compile and save. Okay, a quick change for you guys. So we need to cast to our BPRE character, but we don't need to cast to our item pistol. I was just being stupid. You can just, instead of casting to the pistol, which is not really like, let's say it doesn't really make sense from a programming perspective. It really doesn't make any sense, because all our actions are going from our player character, and the player character is spawning the pistol, and inside there we have the reference to our pistol, and then from our character, which has the input, from there we get our pistol. We have this actor reference, and then out of this actor reference you can just connect this skeleton mesh here. Then we get the barrel from the location and rotation, and then you can just play this those emitters. Yeah, compile and save. And what you can do now, yeah, we need to change it also for the bullet casing, but I believe, so just get this one here, just get rid of it, and just cast to BP RE character. This makes much more sense. And then just the owner is the character, and from there you get the pistol, and then just connect this one right away. Let's do like so, and let's do like so, let's do like so, and then like this, and then like straighten everything so everything is fine. Okay, sweet. And now we will have this sound as well, because it goes to our character first, and from our character there's like this pistol assigned to it, and from there, from skeleton mesh location, in this case the socket, and in this location we have the pistol shoot sound. So now let's see if the shoot sound for the bullet. Yeah, again I'm stupid because I need to use a different sound. The bullet shell. And when I open up the bullet shell, I have 3 different shell. Yeah, those. And then just boom, boom, and boom. But I can already hear that this is too fast. So what we need to do, go to the fire montage and just put this one here, like so, right at the end. Yeah. Maybe this is still a little too slow. And also we need to replace the sound. because I was importing new sounds. So there's no reload sound for me. So just pretty quick. Let me just get back to the item menu here. I think it was here. And I had this sound of reload. You can see I was just like re-importing stuff, so this got just overwritten. This is the reason why I lost my reload. Yeah, let's get the sound queue, which is empty right now. Sound effects. And then pistol, reload, open that one up. This is the one. And we have this one. And we do like so. Later in the game, we will also implement a reload animation and also like a pickup animation. And then we will use anim state. So now you can see. Yeah. But I might gonna change the bullet casing later, or maybe I will just completely get rid of it. Because it's not really a big advantage. I mean, it is because you can see the smoke on the side coming out. So this is basically the bullet. But I think this is a little too early. So we might just put this one, so we might just gonna get rid of this anim notify, this particular one, and we will just set up a delay in our player BP and cast it from there. Where we don't need to cast it. You know what? Let's just do it. Let's just do it, so make this episode complete. So for the anim notify, let's get rid of this bullet casing. Yeah, force delete. We don't care. So when you open up your RE character and you go into your montage, you can see this is now, oh, this is a nice bug. So again, window, load layout, default editor layout. Okay, now we're good to go. You can see that this bullet casing now is yellow. So it means this is gone. But you can just, this one we need, we can just copy this, get this one, this is the down, shooting down, and just control, no, not control V, let's just paste, like so. And the same we do for the fire montage, up, like so, and then paste. Now the bullet casing is gone, but we do this in inside our character. We have this fire cooldown, let's just do an output. Inside the fire cooldown. And let's create a macro. No, I think we cannot do a macro, right? No, let's try. Because we are using a delay, let's do bullet casing SFX. Can we set a delay? Let me see. Input is executable. And we call it just play. And from there we use a delay. And yes, we can use a delay. Let's do 0.5. And then just play sound. Add location. Let me get an input here, which is a vector. Player location. Compile and save. And then we get this macro, bullet casing sound effects. So we play this at the very last note, get actor location right away. And let me just, you know what, let me just cut this one out and let's just do it right here, and then we don't need this one. Doesn't make any sense. You're just wasting space. So, actor location is enough. We don't need the socket location of the pistol. This is enough. And then we get the casing, bullet casing. SC, bullet, okay, bullet shell, right? Yes. So now, let's try it out. This is maybe a little too slow. The fire cooldown, yes, because the fire cooldown has a delay. So let's just do, we don't need, oh, we need a delay between. Let's just do 0.6. And then we get this one and put it here. And then we don't need the bullet casing macro. Let's just rename this one. Fire cooldown, click on this, press F2, fire cooldown and bullet SFX. So we know what's going on. This is why, because we have a fire cooldown delay of 0.7, now it's 0.6 seconds. I think this is more accurate. Yeah, this is perfect. Yeah. Yeah, this is perfect. Okay, let's just reload. Yeah. So let's save this. Before I finish this episode, let me clean up our RE character here. Let's try to implement all those things here inside our AC. So let's open up our AC, and we do a function called f equip pistol. Let's get everything here. So we need the AC inventory in order to cast this one. We need to get a boolean pistol equipped. Put this into. Let's do another category, pistol, and then we can also use this. No, this is all bullet related, right? Yeah, pistol empty is also bullet related. Yeah, this is fine. So just pistol equipped, and of course we are going to use this boolean and not this boolean. And of course we need to replace this. So let's promote this to a variable, connect that one up, call it pistol, connect this return value also to the actor component, and this is the mesh of our character. So we need to get our character mesh, and here as well. So because the pistol socket is on our character skeleton mesh, of course. This means we need to get this one. Cast to. Don't worry about like casting, because this is like just once on event begin play. So this is just getting fired once every time we start a level. So you can't just relax. This is all good. This is just like one tiny millisecond of performance we have. So you're not gonna notice anything in terms of performance here. Let me just get the character and just connect this one to. Yeah, I need the mesh. I'm stupid. The mesh is the parent and not the blueprint itself. Okay, so now this one is fine. Compile and save. Of course, it's not fine because we need to get owning player. No, get owning player. No, get owner. No. Get player character. This is the one for the AC. Okay, and then I think we should be fine. Let's do like so. This is now our pistol equip function, and then we can just oh yeah, pistol equipped, of course. And now we can just use this one. So let me just put this here. F equip pistol. We're getting rid of this. Don't worry. Just want to make sure that we're not forgetting anything. And because at the same time we have this pistol equipped, is it so? We need to check pistol equipped. Find references by name in the macro. So we have it also in the macro. Okay. So we should not forget this. That we have this old boolean also in a macro is pistol equipped. So get the AC. Pistol equipped, get pistol equipped. And let's just replace this step by step. So now compile, save. Then we can just get rid of this equip pistol. Compile and save. And then this old one, pistol equipped, we should be fine. Is pistol equipped macro. No, this is already updated. Okay. And we can delete the function equip pistol. Good. Now we are just using this logic from our AC inventory. Let me see if everything works out. Okay, so the pistol is not equipped. Makes sense, because we also need to... This is the old one you see here. This is the old one we had to delete. So we get this pistol. Get pistol. And of course, we are going to replace this reference because we don't have a reference anymore. Compile and save. So this is the pistol sphere trace. So you had this pistol before. You can just delete this one here. Why is it still... no, it's fine, it's just this one. Let's get rid of this. And from the AC, so here, and from the AC you get the pistol. And then you should be fine. And we are not. Because we also have this... Yeah. Here, in the BP pistol, we need to get the AC inventory, sorry. So we need to get the AC inventory. And we get pistol. So also update the animation notify. I'm really sorry about that. I know now people are really frustrated because they just do everything and then everything's broken. But it's not broken, we just need to update our reference, our pistol reference. Okay, so finally we should be set. Let's try a second time. Yes. And then we also can pick up. We can reload. And we can reload 6 bullets. And 14. Yes. And then we can also just heal. Yeah, this is it. So the next function we are going to change. The fire montage, I think we should have it here. This is a big one. Yeah, because this is also like for the movement and everything, so we leave this. Let's delete the pistol equipped. Yeah. So the fire montage and the sphere trace, we just leave this. I think those are the two exceptions we have here. And then the pistol to inventory. Let's replace this. Is pistol in inventory? Let's replace this. Pistol in inventory. Yes. So is pistol inventory. Goodbye. We get in the AC. We get this is pistol in inventory. Over here. And inside pistol, compile and save. And then we get the AC. And then is pistol in inventory. No, not get. Set pistol in inventory to true after we equip. And then we go to our macro. Is pistol equipped. And from here, and is pistol in inventory. Yes, at the same time it needs to be. Now press Q. Okay, this is maybe a little too. Okay. Good. So we just cleaned up a little bit, and then we can just change this function as well. So F pistol to inventory, we can just use another function here. F pistol to inventory. And let's just see, we get the inventory and add. So this one, just copy this. So we get the inventory. And we add, and at the same time our pistol then is set to true. So now we have the same stuff with the same variables inside our AC. And we can just go here. Pistol to inventory, delete this. Disconnect, then delete. Okay, sometimes this is a bug. Let me just compile, just reopen this. And then I can delete this. And we get another AC inventory, and then we just to inventory. Pistol to inventory. Okay, compile, save. And now pistol to inventory, just delete this. So now we just have two functions inside our player BP left. So I think those should stay here because this is like really a big one. Otherwise we always need to cast the aim pitch to our AC inventory, and I mean to our component, inventory component. Doesn't make a lot of sense because everything regarding our movement input should stay here. And for the, oh my god, let me just reopen this. And for the fire montage, pistol sphere trace, we can also just have a function in our AC inventory, but I don't think this is beneficial for us because we need to cast this one every single time. yeah, we need to cast this node every single time. So this is cheaper. Just get the reference from our AC and then we cast it directly inside this sphere trace. Okay, now let's see our variables, if we can clean this up. So pistol obtained. Pistol obtained is not used, delete this. Is aiming and is shooting and can shoot. Those are the ones we need. Is aiming and is shooting is a condition we need for our movement. So we cannot move, of course. Can shoot is the fire cooldown, so this is fine. Move is fine. This is connected to our NMBP. And the aim is also connected to our NMBP. So yeah, so now this one is clean and I'm satisfied with this. Okay, and I think this is it for this episode. And yeah, you can see and you can hear. Yeah, okay, thank you, and yeah, see you guys in the next episode.